Hey guys, welcome to Zechariah 5. I am ready to get into this. I woke up, I was very wiped. I've been wiped out the last couple of days because sleep has been disturbed at best. And there's been a little bit of stuff on my mind, but I've actually been pretty energized. So I'm a little wound up now that I got morning devotion filmed and we got to glorify God. And so I'm ready to jump into this and see what we can discover in this. I love these books because there's so much here. It validates things we already know and helps explain things we are looking at. Let's see what Zechariah 5 has to give us. The vision of the flying scroll. Then I turned and raised my eyes and saw there a flying scroll. So this is a continuation of the previous chapter. And he said to me, "What do you see?" So I answered, "I see a flying scroll. Its length is 20 cubits and its width 10 cubits. That's a big scroll. That's a big scroll. A cubit is about 18 inches. Then he said to me, "This is the curse that goes out over the face of the whole earth. Every thief shall be expelled according to this side of the scroll, and every perjurer shall be expelled according to that side of the scroll." I wonder if this is the scroll that Jesus breaks the seals on. Well, let's see. Let's see what it says. Verse 4. "I will send out the curse, says the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter the house of the thief and the house of the one who swears falsely by my name." Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Did you hear what he said? "I will send out the curse, says the Lord of hosts. It shall enter the house of the thief and the house of the one who swears falsely by my name." That would be breaking the fourth commandment, taking the name of God in vain. "It shall remain in the midst of his house and consume it with its timber and stones." So it's conviction. Maybe it is the seals. Maybe it is the seals. I don't know, man, because that's, I mean, a lot of people are probably going to get caught up in that boat. People swearing falsely by his name. That's a lot of people today. Go do a search on YouTube and you'll find them. They're everywhere. Back in 2019, that's almost all we were doing was fighting them. I still run into their channels every now and then. Verse 5. And this is the vision of the woman in the basket. In a basket. A woman in a basket. "Then the angel who talked with me came out and said to me, 'Lift your eyes now and see what this is that goes forth.' So I asked, 'What is it?' And he said, 'It is a basket that is going forth.' He also said, 'This is their resemblance throughout the earth.'" This is their resemblance throughout the earth. A basket. Here is a lead disc lifted up. And this is a woman sitting inside the basket. So the analogy he's giving here, or the picture he's giving here, a woman is sitting inside a basket and there's a lead disc being lifted up. Then he said, verse 8, "This is wickedness." And he thrust her down into the basket and threw the lead cover over its mouth. So it's a wide, stiff basket that he can cover up and put a lid on. It's not a soft basket. So he put a lead cover over there. So he's containing wickedness in the basket. I wonder if this is a picture of that particular woman as a reference to Mystery Babylon. Not sure. Then he said, "This is wickedness." And he thrust her down into the basket and threw the lead cover over its mouth. Verse 9, "Then I raised my eyes and looked, and there were two women coming with the wind in their wings. For they had wings like the wings of a stork. And they lifted up the basket between earth and heaven. So I said to the angel who talked with me, 'Where are they carrying the basket?' And he said to me, 'To build a house for it in the land of Shinar. When it is ready, the basket will be set there on its base.'" So he's containing wickedness in a basket with a lead lid. Now that kind of doesn't make any sense, because a basket, you can tear your way out of a basket. You can work between things, tear it open, get out. But it has a lead lid on it, which is interesting. Like, you're not supposed to get out of that. And is using a woman as a reference, calling her wickedness. So I wonder who that is. And they're going to build a house for her in Shinar. Now, keep in mind, we're not going to be able to discover everything in this. But there's a lot here. Why a house in Shinar? So you do a look and see what Shinar is. Maybe that'll, or Shinar, depending on how you want to pronounce it. But he's going to contain wickedness in a house in Shinar. To build a house for the basket, in the land of Shinar. When it is ready, the basket will be set there on its base. So it's going to have a base to hold it up to. So he's going to contain wickedness in a basket with a lead lid in a house in Shinar. Very interesting. So I wonder who this is referencing. Maybe it's an imprisonment of a particular group of people. Who knows? Let's see. Yeah, so the visions are going to keep going. Yeah, it keeps continuing on in Zechariah 6. I'm only going to do one chapter a day. I don't want to get too much information out here. But that's very interesting. He's seeing a flying scroll that's going to bring conviction and it's going to bring judgment to a curse to those who swear falsely by the Lord's name. And it's going to remain in their house. So there's one house, their particular house. It's going to come deal with the thief and those who swear falsely by his name. I don't think that's a generalized term for thief. I think he's being very specific about what type of thief he's referring to. I think it's going to be people concerning the word and the way you're using it. Those that we're talking about today. Those that we're contending with today constantly. And the ones who swear falsely by his name. Those who have taken the Lord's name in vain. Those who have claimed to be Christian and they're not. We know they're not going in the rapture. We know they're not. The Lord's not going to take those kind of people in the rapture. He's taking his children. Well, they can't possibly be that. So could this be talking about the seals? Maybe. We know all the houses and buildings are going to be destroyed because that's what the seals and the tribulation are going to do. So maybe this is a reference to that. But then he goes on, he starts talking about there's a woman in a basket, and it's a basket with a lead lid. He pushed her down into it and covered her up. And called her wickedness. He's going to contain wickedness. Now the lead lid is heavy and can't be lifted. But the basket you can tear your way out of. It's porous. It's got little holes in it. So I'm wondering if it's intended for wickedness to escape at some point. But then he's going to specifically build a house for wickedness. So he's going to build a house for wickedness, and we see houses being cursed, houses of particular individuals being cursed. I wonder if this house is going to be cursed too. See, there's a lot here that doesn't make any sense. And I may do a subsequent video, a Zechariah 5B, or A or B or whatever, to touch a little bit more into that. But that's very interesting. That's very interesting. I tell you what, let's take a quick look over here, and let's go look up Shinar is in Babylonia. Shinar is the name of the southern region of Mesopotamia used by the Hebrew Bible. Let's look at images. Let's look at this one here. Nimrod's kingdom. The land of Shinar is out around Assyria, Babylonia, Sumer, Elam. It looks like Iraq. Yeah, it's in Iraq. It's the land of Shinar right there. Babylon was in that place. So, they're going to contain evil in Iraq. Probably in the area of Babylon, most likely. Interesting. Very interesting. So he's going to do the basket with a lead lid and build a house in Shinar and contain the wickedness in Shinar. That's interesting. I wonder if there's anything more we could discover from this. I imagine there is. It would take a much deeper study. Probably an hour or two of digging. Let's see if there's a significance to. So here's somebody here on Got Questions asking this. So I'm just showing you guys that this is usually how I start looking. Why is wickedness portrayed as a woman in Zechariah 5, 7, and 8? So Got Questions says one of the prophet Zechariah's visions is of a measuring basket with a lead cover. In Zechariah 5, 7, and 8, he writes, Then the cover of lead was raised, and there in the basket sat a woman. The angel said, This is wickedness, and he pushed her back into the basket and pushed the lead cover down over its mouth. Why would God use a woman to portray wickedness in this vision? Here are a couple of things to consider. First, the Hebrew word translated wickedness is a feminine noun. As such, using feminine imagery throughout this section would be appropriate from a purely grammatical standpoint. While the English language does not typically speak of non-living objects as male or female, other languages often do. Now, again, remember that when they use the feminine area of it, it's not referring to a woman. It's not referring to something feminine. It's the lesser description. For example, we would refer to evil as an it. Evil, it is a negative thing. In Spanish, however, evil is a masculine noun, el mal, and would be referred to as he. Evil, he is a negative thing. Likewise, in Hebrew, wickedness is a feminine noun referred to as a she. Second, the use of woman in verse 7 parallels the mention of two women in verse 9. The women in the basket represented widespread wickedness. After the prophet sees what's inside, two women pick up the basket and fly away with it to Babylonia, where it finds a home. The basket's destination also gives us a clue as to the presence of a woman in Zechariah's vision. Babylon is the name of the evil world system in the final days, Revelation 17. So there is a connection there between this woman in the basket and Mystery Babylon. Pictures this system as a woman called the Great Prostitute. So the woman in Zechariah's vision is led out of the basket in order to ride the scarlet beast in John's vision. In other words, the wickedness that was previously kept in check will be unconfined and wreaking havoc in the last days. So basically, the wickedness now is probably in check. And it all bases out of Babylon. But it is going to be cut loose and set loose over the earth after that. Now, we do know there's also some referencing, and this could be a link to it also. It talks about that when the river Euphrates dries up, there's going to be spirits that are going to be released out of it. Well, it talks about that happening. It's going to happen in Iraq, in the location of Babylon. So these spirits are going to be released from there. So this could be this wickedness that it's referring to, these spirits. Maybe. In summary, the entity in the basket is a woman for grammatical reasons and also for consistency with later prophecies. Other passages symbolize worldwide sin with similar imagery. For example, Revelation pictures the spiritual adultery in the last days as a prostitute. Thus, Zechariah's prophecy dovetails nicely with John's apocalyptic vision of the future. So you guys can see how you can, I just showed you an example of how you can dig a little deeper using key parts in here. The basket with a lead lid, that's an important detail. Look that up and see what the referencing is to that. And you can dig deeper like I did. You can go even further than I did. Why is it a woman? What are the other references in the Bible for that? And then you can look at the original language. You have to get another Bible app to do that. And you can get My Sword. It's the easiest one that I found to use for this. And go to Zechariah 5. And then you just find the verse you want. And in Open Bible, you have King James Version Light and King James Version. King James Version gives you the original. Gives you the original language, which in the Old Testament would be Hebrew. This is wickedness. So it's Rishah, wickedness, guilt, wickedness in civil relations, wickedness of enemies, wickedness ethical and religious. So just like in the beginning, when he talked about the thieves, and the one that claims his name and does it falsely. It's going to be wickedness in ethical and religious wickedness. This is a noun feminine, the Strong's. It's the feminine of H7562, wrong, especially moral, fault, wickedly, and wickedness. So that's being basically contained. Now, wickedness is all over the place today, so how can it be contained? It may be that this is talking about that wickedness being contained for the first 3.5 years, which in reality isn't going to be contained. But there's other things that are going to be released during that time. So this just may be one of the details going along with it, and we may never fully understand what it's talking about. But you can see how to look this stuff up. It's really simple. Now, he talked about it being a woman. Okay, here it is. Verse 7. This is a woman that sitteth in the midst of the ephah, the basket. So H802 for woman, Isha, woman, wife, female, woman opposite of man, wife, woman married to a man, female of animals, each every pronoun. So now what I'm looking at here, this is telling me maybe this is referring to Israel, because Israel is the wife of God. The first form is the feminine of H376 or H582. The second form is an irregular plural. A woman used, a regular plural, that's key. So it's not talking about a single woman, it's talking about multiple women, used in the same wide sense as H582. Adulteress, each, every, female, many, none. One, together, wife, woman, often unexpressed in English. So this is probably, this wickedness is probably referring to Israel. And they had this, where they were contained, where they were in exile multiple times in Babylon. Twice, for sure, that we can go back and look historically at. So this woman in the basket is probably referring to Israel and what she did. Now, again, this could actually still, and I agree with what the Open Bible article said, this could actually still refer to Mystery Babylon, which, funny enough, would tie the two together. Again, more proof contained within this. Now I realize why the Lord inspired me to go ahead and push this as I was about to end the video. So there's more proof that this may actually be who we're looking at here. Now, let's see what the other women are. So you go down and look and see the two women that came with the wings. For they had wings. Now let's see. Then I lifted up mine eyes, verse 9, and looked, and behold, there came out two women. And it's giving two different words there. Two, H8147, Shenarim, two, the cardinal number. Two, both double, twice, second. The ordinal number, in combination with other numbers. The first form being dual evasion, the second form being feminine, two. So it's two women, but it actually can also go up to more. It can be doubled, twofold. 60 1,000. Now it's women, 8, the same one, H802. Who are these women? Who are these wives? So is it Israel that's going to put Israel in exile? So it's using the same name for these women with wings. Let's see what kind of wings they have. And the wind was in their wings, H3671. Konof, wing, extremity, edge, winged, border, corner, skirt, wing, extremity, skirt, corner of garment. This is another feminine noun. Strong's says it's from H3670, an edge or extremity. So if the wings are representative of the very far edge of something, specifically of a bird or army. A wing of a garment or bedclothing, a flap of the earth, a quarter of a building, a pinnacle, bird, border, corner, end, feathered, flying, plus one and other, overspreading, quarter, skirt, sword, uppermost part, wing. So it may be there's a bunch of different groups of people that are involved in what's going on here, and they are looking to take this certain evil or this certain bad element and put it in prison. Now we know that has happened. That has happened in the past. Twice, for sure. Is there a future fulfillment of this? Maybe. It depends on if this is a future fulfillment or not. Now we do know, you go up here to the top and you see there's a scroll, a flying scroll. So we have the edge again. It may be, I don't know if it's going to be a similar reference there, but you can do that digging on your own and look at the words. And see if there's a connected reference here where he's going to do this at the same time, or this is something that's going to happen in the same area. So you can see how detailed it can get. So I just wanted to show you guys that. I want you to see that because you can see how it starts to lead into a lot of other things, and it starts to validate a lot of other things that you already seen. And it helps stuff like this that most people read and don't even talk about anymore because they don't understand it. Helps you understand what it's referring to and who it's referring to. And it can get extremely detailed. But if, like I say, if you don't understand it, just wait. The Lord will reveal it to you. If it's for you, He will reveal it to you. Now, before I close, if you guys have Android, you can go to the Play Store. If you want this on your phone. And all you have to do is type in My Sword. And you can get eSword Bible Study to go, and My Sword is down here somewhere. Yeah, My Sword Bible. Okay. I like My Sword because it's really easy and really quick. My Sword. I don't see it. Tell you what, let's go here. Let's do just a regular Google search for My Sword Bible. My Sword Bible app. There he goes. So you can just do it and get it right from the website, My Sword Bible app. And it works really good. I haven't had any issues with it. They don't have ads. They don't update constantly. And I'm able to look at the original language very easily with it. But it's a great referencing tool. So right now what I'm using to look a lot of this stuff up is I have regular Bible that I use just for reading and highlighting and referencing. eSword that I use for the devotions and that. And you can look stuff up in eSword too. I just haven't learned how to use it completely yet. But you can use eSword also, which I like, and it works really good. And I use My Sword. And I use My Sword to look up the original language because for me it's easier. It's been super simple to use. And all these do tons of stuff. Give you tons of options to be able to do that. And that's just from the cell phone. You can get eSword on your laptop too. And it's even more expansive and you can dig through all that stuff. And the great thing about eSword is that eSword allows you, if you, let's say, because you can download the app for free, but you have to buy the different types of Bibles that you want. So what I do is when I got eSword, I bought the New King James Bible, I bought the ESV Bible, I think it was like $14, and then I bought the King James Expanded, or to get the other languages, to be able to get it in its original languages. And if you've seen any videos where I've used that on there, you can see that I can do that. Once you get that, you save your emails because the product key will allow you to install those Bibles on your phone too, so you can use them on any computer and you can use them on multiple devices. So you only have to pay for it one time. I think altogether I paid $32, and that got me all the Bible apps I wanted and all the referencing that I wanted, and I'm able to use that and bounce back and forth. Real simple, real easy. And sometimes they even have specials, or they'll offer a bunch of free ones. So you can constantly go in there and check in their website, and you can get updates and all that kind of stuff all the time. It's really good. It works really good. It's easy to use. Once you start to play with it, you'll understand. And it will allow you to take stuff like Zechariah 5 here, which seems very hard to understand. What does this mean? And dig a little deeper into the original language and find more connections, just like we just did. Just like I just showed you guys. And that was just a few minutes. you can take the time. You can really do some serious digging. Now, the one disadvantage about using a cell phone for this, which I'm trying to get something set up here where I can do these videos on my laptop. The disadvantage of doing this here on the cell phone is you can only have one page open at a time. Whereas on the laptop, I can open up a whole bunch of tabs and just skip through the tabs. I can have everything ready to go and prepared and open new ones if I need to. So that's why I'm going to try to switch over to my laptop and do these middle of the day or the prophet books on that, because then we can dig a little bit deeper into that stuff. Like I said, I may do other videos like Zechariah 5a in order to dig a little deeper into what it's saying and show more information if I can find some. We'll see. I'm going to try to set that up. So anyway, guys, that was Zechariah 5. You can see how easy it is to find something. Like, I hardly ever hear anybody talk about Zechariah 5. I don't think I hear anybody do any studies on it. Well, here we are. And look at what we already discovered just with a light peruse through what it was saying. We've already found a connection between Israel and the woman in the basket. Wickedness. And judgment that was coming. And imprisonment that was coming. And then we have this mystery Babylon getting mentioned and brought into the equation. And we're starting to see, there's some stuff here. And that's what I find interesting about the Bible, is how elaborate it is, but how connected it is. And again, it helps you understand other parts of the Bible. This right here helps us understand more about the future. Helps us understand more about the book of Revelation. So if you have the time and the ability, dig in there and find those things. All those apps are free. The only thing you have to pay for is any extra Bible that you want. And you play with them a little bit, and they become easy to use, and they're reliable, and they don't change, and you can go through them, and that's how I do it anyway. It's worked good for me. All right, guys, so tomorrow is going to be Zechariah 6, Vision of the 4 Chariots. Now, I'm not going to dip into it because I want to save that for tomorrow because I love this stuff. All right, y'all, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.